Let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest with yourself. Have you ever wondered in the back of your mind whether you're truly satisfying your partner, whether what you're doing is actually working for her? You're not alone. Most men have had that thought at some point. And the problem is the places we usually turn to for answers, whether it's locker room talk, online forums, or, let's be real, adult entertainment, they paint a completely misleading picture of what great intimacy actually looks like. So today, I'm going to share 5 medically backed techniques that can help you improve your intimacy, last longer, and deliver what women genuinely respond to. This isn't guesswork. This isn't bravado. This is what the science and real clinical experience actually tell us. Now, before we dive in, if you find value in what you hear today, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And drop a comment below letting me know where you're watching from. I love seeing this community grow from all corners of the world, and your engagement helps more men find this information when they need it most. All right, let's start by clearing something up because there's a massive myth out there that's been doing damage for decades. A lot of men grow up believing that great sex is all about size and speed. And honestly, that belief comes almost entirely from pornography. But here's what the actual science tells us. What matters far more than size or how fast you go is technique, connection, and attentiveness. Female biology doesn't respond the way most men think it does. Women need rhythm. They need variety. They need clitoral stimulation. And above all, they need you to be present, mentally and emotionally, not just physically. When men don't understand this, anxiety creeps in. And that anxiety leads to either finishing too quickly or completely missing the signals your partner is sending you. The fix isn't doing more or going harder. The fix is being smarter and more in tune. And that's exactly what we're going to cover today. Now, let me introduce myself so you know who's talking. I'm Dr. Narita, a board-certified urologist with over 12 years of experience specializing in men's health and intimacy. Over the course of my career, I've worked with thousands of men, young, middle-aged, older, and across all age groups. The questions are remarkably similar. How do I get better at this? How do I last longer? How do I actually satisfy my partner? And after all those conversations, all those consultations, a very clear pattern has emerged. The men who see real improvement aren't the ones chasing some magic pill or secret trick. They're the ones who learn to listen, to adapt, and to apply a handful of key techniques that are aligned with how female biology actually works. So let's get into those techniques right now. The first one is deceptively simple but incredibly powerful. Start slow. I know that goes against every instinct in your body. When things heat up, the natural urge is to match that energy with fast, intense movement. But here's what's happening on her side. A woman's body needs time. Time for arousal to build. Time for her muscles to relax. Time for blood flow to increase and natural lubrication to develop. When you rush past that window, you're not being passionate. You're actually creating discomfort, or worse, a sense of disconnection. She may not say it, but her body is telling you it wasn't ready. So here's the fix. Be patient. Begin with gentle, shallow movements. Let the experience build gradually. What this does is remarkable. It builds sensitivity for both of you. It communicates care and attentiveness, and it sets the foundation for the kind of intensity later on that actually feels good for her, not just for you. Think of it this way, you're not holding back. You're building something. Now, once you've established that slow, intentional start, the second technique takes things to another level. Tease her. Teasing is one of the most underrated tools in intimacy, and there's real neuroscience behind why it works. When you build anticipation, when you bring her close to something and then pull back just slightly, her nervous system lights up. The response becomes more intense, more urgent, more satisfying when you do follow through. So how do you do this in practice? Once you've found a rhythm that she's clearly enjoying, instead of staying locked into it, slow down. Shorten your movements, pull back just a little, watch her reaction. If she's squirming, pulling you closer, shifting her hips toward you, that's not frustration. That's desire building. That's exactly what you want. Now, one important warning here. Don't do this when she's right on the edge of climax. That's not teasing. That's just frustrating. Teasing works best earlier in the experience, when you're creating a craving in her body that builds and builds over time. All right, technique number 3. Vary your tempo. This is one of the most common mistakes I hear about, and it's an easy one to fix. A lot of men find one rhythm that seems to be working and then just stick with it the entire time. And I understand the logic. If it's working, why change it? But the body doesn't respond well to monotony. When you repeat the same motion at the same speed for too long, her nerve endings start to desensitize. The sensation literally becomes less intense over time. So instead of locking into one pattern, mix it up. Go slow and deep for a while. Then switch to something faster and more shallow. Throw in a pause, change positions. What this does is keep her nervous system alert and responsive. Every shift feels like a new wave of sensation. Beyond the biology, there's an emotional component too. Variety creates a sense of adventure and unpredictability, which keeps the experience exciting rather than mechanical. And here's a bonus. Varying your tempo also helps your stamina. When you change rhythm, you give yourself natural micro breaks that help you stay in control longer. So it's genuinely a win for both of you. Now, technique number 4 is one that most men have never even thought about, and it might be the single biggest game changer on this list. Use grinding, not just thrusting. Let me explain why. Most people know the clitoris is a key source of pleasure for women, but what a lot of people don't realize is that the clitoris isn't just that small external point. It's actually a much larger structure that extends internally, wrapping around parts of the vaginal canal. Traditional thrusting, especially the in and out motion most men default to, often misses most of that network entirely. Grinding is different. When I say grinding, I mean circular motions. Steady pressure, a rocking movement while staying in close contact with your partner. Think less about moving in and out and more about moving together, pressing, circling, staying connected. In close positions, this kind of motion stimulates that full internal and external network in a way that standard thrusting simply can't. The benefits here are significant. For her, it creates a much fuller, more complete sensation of pleasure. For both of you, it builds a feeling of deep physical connection and closeness. And for you specifically, because the motion is less frantic, it naturally helps you last longer. You're not working against yourself anymore. You're working with her body instead of just inside it. And that brings us to the 5th and arguably most important technique of all. Pay attention. I know that sounds obvious, but hear me out. Your greatest tool in intimacy isn't a position, a technique, or a rhythm. It's awareness. Her breathing is telling you something. Her sounds are telling you something. The way she moves her hips, arches her back, grips the sheets, pulls you closer, or shifts away, all of it is real-time feedback. And every woman is different. What worked with a previous partner might not work now. What worked last Tuesday might not be exactly what she needs tonight. The key is to stop following a script in your head and start responding to what's actually happening in the moment. Adjust your speed, your depth, your pressure based on what her body is communicating. When you do this, something powerful happens. You're not just stimulating her physically, you're building an emotional bridge. She feels seen, she feels understood. And that combination of biology and emotion is what creates truly memorable intimacy. It's the opposite of being robotic or mechanical. Presence is power. And this is the technique that ties all the others together. So let's put it all into a simple sequence you can remember. Start slow. Let her body warm up and build real arousal. Tease early. Create anticipation and desire before things peak. Mix your tempo. Keep her nervous system engaged and responsive. Incorporate grinding with your thrusting. Stimulate the full network, not just part of it. And above all, stay present. Read her signals and adapt in real time. You don't have to master all 5 overnight. But I promise you, even applying 1 or 2 of these the next time you're intimate, you'll notice a difference in her reactions and in your own confidence. Now, I want to take a moment to speak directly to those of you who might be feeling some pressure right now. Maybe you've struggled in the past. Maybe you've had experiences that knocked your confidence. Maybe you're thinking about your age and wondering if the best years are behind you. I hear these concerns every single day in my practice. And here's the truth. It is never too late. I have worked with men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s who have made improvements that surpassed what they were doing in their younger years. Age is not the barrier most men think it is. What actually makes the difference is a willingness to be present, to focus on connection over performance, and to make small, smart adjustments. You're not broken, you're learning. And the fact that you're here, watching this, looking for real answers, that already puts you ahead of most. Here's the bottom line. Women don't want a performance. They want an experience.